Well, I also have with me in the studio Rice Director of News and Politics Editor, Sambo, for more on this conversation. Thank you so much, Samna, for your time. I mean, speak to the issue. Why do you think the the opposition party is expressing fear that, of course, the country is headed towards a one-party state?
Well, if you look at the indices politically, you will discover that actually the state of our polity right now is one that actually you would say is ripe for a one-party state. And you will see that the major political parties are actually facing one challenge or the other. I mean, if you were to use a medical device to actually diagnose the state of health of our political parties, you'll see that the opposition parties are hemorrhaging at the moment. Look at, let's start from the biggest one, the main opposition, PDP. I mean, you can see the crisis that's in right now. It's not been able to actually have a substantive national chairman, and of course the national secretary, who is very critical to the running of the party, is also facing a challenge at the moment. Then you come to Labour Party, for example, which is, I mean, also facing a very huge crisis. And then you would have seen that these opposition leaders, in one way or the other, are displaced. So apart from the political parties themselves being challenged with leadership problems, the opposition political party leaders and then the opposition leaders themselves are acting like internally displaced politicians. And of course, one is not actually shocked by what's happening, because when you see Atiku Abubakar crying out at the moment, it's all being taken from the playbook that himself and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu have used in the past. I mean, if you go back, roll back 20 years ago, I mean, when, for example, the Action Congress was being formed between 2005, 2006, this is the same sort of agenda that they use against former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So they pick this in from their playbook and use it to actually cause an uproar within the polity. And of course, this is what we are seeing playing out. If President Tinubu is in power today, he knows that those are the kind of things that former President Obasanjo was also being accused of muzzling other opposition political parties in 2005, 2006, ahead of 2007, when the third-term agenda was being peddled, or an imposition of a ruling party candidate, like it then happened with Yar'Adua, was being, touted. So all of these people are the same in one way or the other. Nasir El-Rufai, except maybe for Peter Obi that's just coming in. So as it stands right now, I wouldn't be surprised that President Tinubu is also using some of those items from that political playbook that they had used in the past, and which they know worked very well. Obasanjo used it, it worked. And then, of course, former President Buhari also used it. And so it's nothing new.
But should Nigerians take, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar seriously? Because he is also concerned about that this will have implication, a far-reaching implication on, of course, Nigeria as well. So how do you think, other political parties should respond to this cry as well?
Yes, they should respond to this outcry by, first of all, ensuring that there's internal democracy within their political parties. Because if you don't resolve your own internal crisis, then how are you going to, stand up and challenge the behemoth that the APC has become at the moment? Alhaji Atiku Abubakar himself has challenges. Because, I mean, look at what is happening in the PDP now. On whose side is Atiku Abubakar? Is he with Umar Damagun, the acting national chairman, or not? If you look at the issue of the national secretary, he is the leader of the party as the opposition leader, former vice president, well-respected individual. What has he said about the issue, the lingering issue of the national secretary in his party? So while the governing APC has its own challenges, and I know that they would want to cash in on some of these challenges, but Atiku Abubakar himself should play the role of an elder statesman by trying to see how he can clean up his house. Because while it's easier for you to call the APC and say the APC is this and that, nonetheless, yourself and other party leaders ought to be calling some of these political leaders in the PDP together and resolving the issues there. And that's why you see, that's why I was happy with the statement, the comment by Peter Obi. He was very careful in stating that if the idea of going to 2027 would be for us to form an opposition party just for the purpose of grabbing power, not for the purpose of transforming governance to benefit people, then he wouldn't want to be a part of it. Because it's this same playbook that was used in 2014 for the formation of the APC, where people who don't have anything in common came together, just formed a political party, and used what is called an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, to win an election. And after that, they've all disintegrated. Atiku Abubakar was there, Nasir El-Rufai himself was there, and you see all of them now. Suddenly, they've become internally displaced politicians. So let's learn to build institutions. President Tinubu is actually right in his own way to actually want to pick from this playbook to displace his fellow politicians and people who he has been seeking power alongside with for over 20, 30 years.
All right.
If you were the one, wouldn't you want to seek a second term and secure it? Well, it's not good for the health of our democracy for us to have a one-party state. And all lovers of Nigeria and democracy should rise up and ensure that we do not have a one-party state. But that cannot happen if the same set of people that are accusing the APC-led federal government do not work out a mechanism for resolving their internal issues.
Well, I think it's a conversation that will continue, and the PDP seems to be at the crossroad that they need to find a common front.
Yeah, I mean, not just the PDP, the APC, Labour Party, because even the APC itself hasn't held any major. I mean, that accusation actually was a right accusation by Nasir El-Rufai. They haven't held any major, meeting of the organs of the party. So the APC itself is not left out. That's why they are saying that the focus is on individuals, not institutions. And
I think we need to leave it there.
Resolve those issues.
Sambo is the Director of News and Political Editor at Rise News. Thank you so much for your time on Newsnight.